All right. Answering some of the questions that were submitted, one of the more popular ones was Mike, do you think social media is more powerful for law firms than traditional video, radio, billboard? And if not today, will it eventually become so? Okay, so I, obviously, as a company where we produce digital content and we obviously do a lot of social, you can see some bias there. But over the years, I've seen that at the end of the day, everything works. There will be people that say, billboards don't work, and then there's another firm and they're absolutely crushing it on billboards. There's people who say email doesn't work, and there's another firm that's doing great on email. So I do think that oftentimes, there's an overimportance placed on the medium, perhaps, whereas perhaps the messaging is more important. But when we're talking about particularly social media versus traditional advertising, so social media versus TV, radio, billboards, all those things, the way to really think about it is, when you're marketing your firm, the goal should be to reach your ideal client where they spend their time. So wherever it is you're able to get their attention. So if they are, let's say that they're consuming a lot of TV during the daytime, and then perhaps running TV commercials would be a really great thing. But what I can say that we've seen to be universally true just over the years is that social media, in terms of consumption, everybody's on social media. Everybody's on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or these platforms. And if you hone in on your ideal client, so let's say you're trying to reach somebody who's between 30 and 60 years old. The large majority of them spend their time on Facebook, sometimes 2-3 hours every single day. And if you can find another medium where someone's consuming that much content and spending that much time there, then I would encourage you to invest there. I think the other advantage with social media is in the cost. So the cost of what it would take to reach 1,000 people. So that's what is known as CPM. And if you compare the CPMs of TV versus, radio versus social, you'll see that social is an incredible bargain. I mean, your barrier to entry is significantly lower. There's going to be, arguably less competition from the standpoint of saturation, meaning that, a solo small firm can be much more competitive on a platform like social than to compete with large advertisers with TV and billboards, for example. Not to mention, in many cases, those other traditional mediums can be cost prohibitive. So my answer is that it all can work, especially if you've got, and most importantly, if you have a great message, if you have great content, that can't be understated. So it's not just, is it radio, is it TV, is it social? I think you really have to start with making sure that you're addressing your ideal client where they spend their time. But when you look at social, there is very little argument against marketing there, particularly for things like brand awareness, getting known, being able to reach an effective frequency, so staying top of mind to your ideal clients. Because you have to consider, in most cases, there's a very, very small segment of the population and of your market that is ready to hire you today or an attorney today. But if you're top of mind when that day comes, then they're going to remember you and they're going to reach out. And you'll see that they're more likely to actually search for your firm specifically in Google and do like a branded search as opposed to criminal defense lawyer Atlanta or personal injury lawyer Houston or something like that. So in summary, do I believe that social media is more powerful than traditional mediums like TV, radio, and billboard? More powerful, that's, one could argue that because I think they can all be very effective and yield great results. But the real way to think about this stuff is the audience, who am I reaching? And then what does it cost to reach them? And social media consistently and platforms like Facebook come up as a consistent bargain. So it should be a part of every single law firm's toolkit and getting your messaging out there and getting your brand out there without a doubt. It's just more cost effective and the barrier to entry is much lower. Eventually, do I believe it'll be significantly more powerful? I think it already is, to be quite honest. And when you look at things in terms of, what's happening in politics with elections, or how people are consuming news. People are getting their news from Facebook. They're not even going to the news website or even reading the newspaper anymore. So just consider the fact of where's the attention and then what does it cost to reach my ideal client? And you'll see that social media comes up strong every single time.